Hello there guys, today I'm going to be covering the Holy Trilogy, what some consider to be the Holy Trilogy, the three finest books on card magic ever written. One is The Royal Road to Card Magic by Gene Hugard and Frederick Browie. The next one is Expert Card Technique by Gene Hugard and Frederick Browie. And the third I'll be covering is The Expert at the Card Table by S.W. Erdnase. First, let's start out with The Royal Road to Card Magic. The Royal Road to Card Magic begins simple enough with the overhand shuffle. The overhand shuffle is primarily a way of shuffling the cards to mix them up. Not the greatest way to mix up the cards, that would be the Riffle Shuffle's job, which is the next chapter. Then you're going to go into flourishes, which is a neat little way of manipulating the cards so as to make the spectator think that a magical moment has taken place, such as the ruffle or the click, or even the ribbon spread probably could be used as well. But then you go into the glide. Tricks with the glide includes Design for Laughter and the Observation Test. Out of the two, I'd probably say Design for Laughter is your best bet. It's one of those turnaround tricks where you make the spectator think that you flopped the trick, but you actually make good at the end. Next is the glimpse. Many methods of glimpsing a card are covered in this chapter, such as the bottom glimpse, the fan peek, the top glimpse, at least 6 different methods of each. And you also have tricks such as Gray's spelling trick and my favorite, Round and Round. Probably the oldest method is the key card principle, probably invented since cards were around actually, I'd venture to say, because you have the bottom card, you know the bottom card, and you place it on top of the top card, and you know what card the spectator had selected. Not to say that that's most advanced use of the key card, but it certainly is a starting point. You have the key undercut shuffle. Tricks with the key card include Do As I Do, 3 piles, the 26th card, A Meeting of the Minds, non-poker voice intuition cards, and the sliding key card. The next chapter, chapter 7, covers the palm. It covers things such as the top palm, a single card, several cards. You have the palm glimpse, replacing the palmed card. First method, second method. Tricks with the palm include Card in the Pocket, Now You See It, Grab Bag card, Good Luck card, Do It and Fail, Gathering of the Clans, Spring Catch, A Vested Interest, and the Piano card trick. If you thought you had enough of the overhand shuffle, Chapter 8 discusses more of the overhand shuffle, including things such as the in, jog, and break, overhand shuffle, break control, overhand lift shuffle. You have the overhand lift shuffle force, the spread and break, holding a break, spread and break control. The tricks of the overhand shuffle include the sevens, obliging aces, leapfrog, spectators, card trick, and a poker puzzle. The next chapter, chapter 10, discusses false shuffles and cuts, optical shuffle, Charlier shuffle, the cut, first method, second method, third method, fourth method, the palm cut. Tricks with the shuffle and cuts include an incomprehensible divination, circus card trick, and blackjack detective. The next chapter covers the double lift and the double lift turnover. The double lift glimpse, double lift card reverse, top card reversal, second card reversal, second card reversal. Tricks with the double lift include Rapid Transit, the tray, ambitious card, throwing consequences, and insidious Dr. Fu-Lu-Tu. Another old method is the classic pass, or the pass is referred to in the book. It's going to go over the grip, the left hand, the right hand, the riffle pass, the spread pass, the spring pass, and tricks with the pass include Off Again, On Again, Finnegan, Kangaroo card, Righting a Wrong, Blindfold pack, and even Double Speller. If you didn't have enough for the flourishes, this chapter covers miscellaneous flourishes, such as the color change, the double color change, the changing card, self-cutting deck, a pretty cut, pop-up card, a bit of byplay, Charlier cut, and a trick including the Charlier cut acrobatic aces. Next up are the reverses. This is simply just a way of reversing a card or a group of cards in the pack. but there's much more to it than meets the eye. It's going to give you 4 methods, first off, of reversing a card. The reverse location, where you drop the card and then you pretend to pick it up and then you put the card on the card, the rest of the cards on top, and you know the location of the card. And some of the tricks with the reversals include Spellbound, a Tipsy Trick, Double Reverse, Mentalivity, and even Mountback Miracle. It's the Hindu Shuffle and other controls. Hindu Shuffle control, single card, several cards, Hindu Shuffle Force, Hindu Shuffle Glimpse, the Step, Natural Jog, 12 down riffle. Tricks with the Hindu Shuffle include all change here and you find it. One of the most difficult things to pull off consistently is the classic force. That is dealt with in chapter 16. You have the one hand force, bottom force, slide out force. You have 2 card force, a riffle break force, sliding key, the double lift force, cut force. Tricks with the force include Justice card trick, 4 of a kind, and the pulse trick. The next chapter includes an important slate known as the top change and the bottom change. It covers the top change, the changing card, top change by play, bottom change, top and bottom changes. The next chapter is chapter on arrangements. Arrangements is pretty much a stacked pack where you have a certain arrangement of cards in a certain order and can be used for many card tricks. You have tricks with arrangements that include the Selective Touch, featuring cards, Jack Wild, Think Stop, Deal Away, the Educated cards, and even Reds and Blacks. The final chapter of part 2 deals with routining. And routining is a very important part of card magic, because if you have a bunch of tricks and you just show tricks, guess what? Eventually you're gonna mess up and you're gonna, go into one trick that doesn't match so much the previous trick. So, that being said, you routine cards and you'll have a better flow, if you will. A table routine, a rollicking routine, card discovery routine, a razzle dazzle routine, and routining card tricks are all covered in the chapter, very important chapter on routining card tricks. Part 3, the final part of the Royal Road to Card Magic, talks about platform tricks such as Conus H trick, Lady's Looking Glass, Everywhere and Nowhere, Egyptian Pocket. You have cards up the sleeve. You have cards to pocket, enlarging and diminishing. 3 cards across, everybody's card 1 and everybody card 2. Expert Card Technique is jam-packed with many slates and many tricks to keep you busy for years to come. Expert Card Technique, written by Gene Hugard and Frederick Browie in the 1940s, reveals some of the finest techniques used in card magic. I'm going to briefly go over the chapters, even the chapter titles, because there's way too much to cover in one video. You have the Secret Lift, which includes the double lift written in Royal Road to Card Magic. You have False Deals, you have the Side Slip, 2 methods, the Pass, you have Palming, at least 12 to 13 methods from what I can count, False Shuffles, which includes Perfect Riffle Shuffle A and B. You have things like Strip Out False Shuffle by Charlie Miller, Hindu Shuffle, False Shuffle retaining top stock, Gambler's False Shuffle retaining top stock, System of Stock Shuffling, Off the Table Riffle Shuffle. Chapter 7, probably my favorite chapter, includes False Running Cuts A and B, Gambler's False Cut, also known as Up the Ladder Cuts, and Gambler's False Cut Bottom Stock. Next you have a chapter 8, which includes changes such as fadeaway card change, slide top change, throw top change, tip over change, push and change, and even the drop switch. Next, chapter 9 covers crimps, which are basically bends in the cards that allow you to indicate which card is where and what have you. Spectator Peek, the Glimpse. Chapter 12 deals with the Jog. Chapter 13 is the Reverse. Chapter 14 is Sundry Slates. The Rear Palm is covered in Chapter 15. The Perfect Pharaoh Shuffle in Chapter 16. flourishes in part 2. Begins part 2. Part 3 begins with technique. Part 4 is tricks with cards, such as the rising cards, selected tricks, birds of a feather, routines, one-hand card magic. Chapter 6 is the ambitious card routine. Ambitious card routine is where you put the card in the center and automatically rises to the top, using the double and triple lifts. Chapter 8 is discoveries. Chapter 9 is mental discoveries. Chapter 10 is reverses. Chapter 11 is spelling effects. Chapter 12 is double-faced cards. Chapter 13 is stranger cards. Chapter 14 is self-working tricks. Finally, part 6 deals with misdirection and presentation, which is probably one of the most overlooked and important parts of card magic. The final book is The Expert at the Card Table. The Expert at the Card Table takes you through many different ruses and subterfuges used at the card table. First, it starts out with the important parts of artifice: the professional secrets, holdouts, prepared cards, confederacy, 2 methods of shuffling, primary accomplishments, possibilities of the blind, uniformity of action, deportment, display of ability, greatest single accomplishment, effect of suspicion, acquiring the art, and importance of details. First, it gives out the technical terms, the definitions of them, position for the shuffle. You have blind riffles and cuts, blind shuffles, fancy blind cuts, fancy true one-handed cuts. You have things like to indicate the location for the cut by the crimp, by the jog, the crimp, the jog. You have the most important part of this book, probably the greatest single accomplishment, which is bottom dealing. Bottom dealing is pretty much taking the bottom card, making it look like it's coming off the top. You have also second dealing, which is taking the second card and dealing it as if it was the top card being dealt. Then you have the stock shuffling, which is pretty important as well. You have 2 card stock, 3 card stock, 4 card stock, 5 card stock, 12 card stock, and the euchre stock. Cull shuffling, 2 cards, 3 cards, 4 cards, and 9 cards. You're going to have palming methods, several palming methods to keep you busy. Maintain the bottom palm while dealing. To hold the location of the cut while dealing. You have shifts or passes. If you remember from the Royal Road to Card Magic, they covered the classic pass. Well, this gives its own method. And next, moving along to the legerdemain section. Well, Artifice finishes with 3 card Monty. The legerdemain section also has shifts, the blind shuffle for securing selected card, forcing, palming, changes, transformations with 2 hands, transformations with 1 hand, blind shuffles retaining the entire order, methods for determining the card thought of by ruffle, the spring flourish, the cut, and by the gaze. To get sight of selected card, the slide or the glide, favorite tricks for terminating cards, such as catching 2 cards at the finger ends, leaving selected card in the hand of spectator, the revolution, cards rising from the hand. And finally, the expert at the card table finishes with card tricks such as the exclusive coterie. Finally, the expert at the card table finishes with card tricks such as exclusive coterie, divining rod, the invisible flight, the prearranged deck, the traveling cards, the row of 10 cards, the acrobatic jacks, the mind-reading card trick, power of concentrated thought, acme of control is in there, the card and handkerchief, the top and bottom production, the 3 aces, and finally the card and the hat. Thank you for watching. My name's Gabe. Hello there guys, those are my 3 favorite card magic books, and I hope you enjoyed that little spiel there, and we'll see you next time. Peace.